Fight Time Network.
Welcome back to Fight Time Network. We are live from the UFC Apex this weekend. We got Lee up in here. How you doing?
Really good. Let's get at her, man. Fucking another straight weekend of UFC action.
Hell yeah, we got 6 fights on this main card. We are going to start out with Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. What you thinking about this one, Lee?
I really like Finney in this one. He's come off the Contender Series the last couple of times. Both in 2024, he went to that unanimous decision where he came in as a minus 400 favorite. Dana White didn't like him. He came back the second time. He got a ground and pound finish, and he's about the same odds that he was going into that Contender Series fight. Valentin coming off of the Ultimate Fighter, man. I thought he'd do a lot better up against Loader. I don't think Finney's going to have an issue getting him to the ground. We know that he can do 3 rounds, and likely, definitely Valentin's going to have an issue with that grappling of Finney. Finney's probably going to get another ground and pound finish in this one, as far as I can see.
Well, the thing is, too, I'm looking here, is Torres Finney, even on the feet, should be able to outdo Robert Valentin this weekend.
Yeah.
Coming in with almost 3 strikes per minute compared to Valentin, who's had a couple fights actually in the UFC so far and just hasn't put on a great performance, my friend. So you are right about that, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody so fucking jacked in my life other than Torres Finney. I almost don't even look real.
He's like an action
figure. How you doing, Emmet Silva? Thanks for joining. I'm going to take Finney on this one also. I know he's a minus 250, so you're looking at a winning method possibly here. I don't think Valentin is willing to go the full distance with him on this one, so I'm definitely with you on that one, Lee. Coming up next on this card here in Vegas, my computer's taking a shit. We got Brad Tavares, 2 old school fellas. Brad Tavares, 20-11, coming against Gerald Meerschaert, legendary 37-18 record, my friend. You just don't see records like this in the UFC really anymore. It's kind of a lost age. I'm going to start out here. I really like Brad Tavares, and I've always liked the way he fights. He's just not done very well. His age has caught up to him a lot quicker than what we've seen in Gerald Meerschaert's last few fights, too. What's your thoughts, my friend?
My thoughts are I think Meerschaert can do this one, man. I certainly think he does. Tavares has only have one in his last 5, and it was against Chris Weidman, who was basically, I think that was the first fight coming back from his injury, if not the second. But yeah, Tavares got that one. And he was up plus 160 going in against the Iron Turtle, man. And you know what? I love Park, man, but they call him the Iron Turtle for a reason. Meerschaert's a great bet this weekend at plus 200, man. He's got a win over Shabazian that really aged well. They put him against DeRitter, and DeRitter's taking on Bo Nickel soon. So we'll really see how good he fares against Nickel to be a testament of how good Meerschaert did up against him going to the 3rd round before getting that arm triangle loss. But ultimately, Meerschaert's had DeRitter. He's had Craig Jones in grappling. He's had Joe Pyfer both in the UFC and both in grappling. So, and then he also beat Bruno Silva, whom Brad Tavares has one of those 4 losses in his last 5. So I think Meerschaert's a great bet. He's got a lot of path to victories. His ability to go 3 rounds might be a lot better than Brad Tavares is, as they are both kind of up there. But
37 years old.
Yeah. But just because of the stiffness and competition more so that Meerschaert has faced in recent times, and just his activity, I think Meerschaert's going to grab at this one. I don't think the books are giving him his due.
Yeah, really, ever since Joe Pyfer knocked him out in round 1 back in 2023, Meerschaert has just defeated all the odds, man, except for coming in against DeRitter, and we're seeing him, what he's made of lately, and he's definitely championship caliber. Oh, man, unless Tavares catches him on the feet, into which it's definitely possible. Meerschaert coming up with age. Tavares still got that power, but I feel like the wisdom of Gerald through 3 rounds. Tavares is going to get it's going to go to the ground at some point, and Meerschaert's just going to make quick work of him when it comes to the ground and his grappling. I'm going to take Meerschaert by submission, truthfully.
Yeah.
I don't see it going necessarily to decision. Is what it is on that. Coming up next, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu, 14-5, coming against Martin Buday, 14-2. I will honestly say, I wish Kennedy Nzechukwu would have never been down at light heavyweight for his last. What he take 3 straight light heavyweight losses? Lost to Dustin Jacoby, got knocked out round 1. That was heavyweight against Brzezinski. Heavyweight. So what? He was 1-1. He was about 3-3 before he moved to light heavyweight, reaching back to 2022. I don't see Nzechukwu losing anytime soon, especially to Martin Buday.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Buday went to a split decision with an aged out Andrei Arlovsky. He lost to Gaziev, who had that disappointing decision to I want to say Tiburon. I'm missing the guy, but I remember that Gaziev main event that he didn't look too swell in. And I mean, you look at Brzezinski and Barnett, man. Buday went the distance and couldn't get those guys out of there, where Nzechukwu flatlined both of them first round, yeah. Barnett and Bresky.
Right. I mean, you looking back, I mean, he beat who? Josh Parisian. Got knocked out by Shamil Gaziev back in 2023. Andrei Arlovsky was like 40-some when he went to decision with him. Did not make a statement like he should have against someone at that age in that weight class. I don't see him being able to stop Kennedy Nzechukwu from walking straight through him. And he's not really good in the grappling either, so he's not going to be able to take Kennedy Nzechukwu down without him getting back up, going through 2 rounds, I believe. And him being able to stand with him, I would seriously say we got another knockout coming straight up on this card.
Yeah. Yeah, those are some big legs to get out from underneath the person out of Kennedy, man. And ultimately, if he's not able to do that, he's certainly a sitting duck out there. And Nzechukwu, I always have trouble saying his name, Kennedy. I think he reps Canada too, eh? He's Canadian too.
Yeah, it's part of the game, trying to figure everybody's name out. How many we butcher every week? The list keeps growing, my friend. Moving on to Cortavius Romeos, 9-3, coming up against Li Shangho, 10-1. I really like Li Shangho on this one, Lee. What's your thoughts? Really good pick'em fight.
I know, like he almost lost that last one though, and I know because I had top dollar on Holy to win, and I was sweating when it came to that split decision. I mean, Long Zhu really had the blueprint to fight. He kept coming forward, he kept putting that sense of urgency, and as Holy sort of backed off the gas, even though he definitely had the first round won, and it's like there was an argument on toss up for that second round, but the third round really was like so. Romeos, what I seen out of him, he's there to prove himself. He came off the Contender Series. He had a good outing in the Contender Series. Wasn't able to get the finish. He had a tough opponent in Mike Pareto. However, he came on guns a-blazing. He was a heavy favorite to win that last fight, and it was really, really close. Like it was. The judges' scorecards really don't tell the story of that fight, but you could see as towards the end and towards you could see it in click in him where he realized that he might be losing this fight. So you could certainly see the sense of urgency in him when he's down. I think if he can keep pushing forward, if he can make Lee react like Long Yu was, and he's got a good game plan to beat Lee. So I think Romeos could definitely put it together like Long Yu almost did, and ultimately come with a victory over Holy. But it is a pick'em, and Holy certainly is going to be competitive in that realm.
No doubt. Cortavius coming in at a plus 114 right now, and Shangho looking at a minus 135. I feel like it's going to be a minus 115, minus 150 closer we get. Because there's just not going to be fat money on one side with this fight, I believe. It's just going to be back and forth, people putting the bets, possibly getting their good odds, up in their parlay with a good 50-50 shot here.
Yeah, if Holy can keep it consistent all 3 rounds, then he certainly can get it done. But I mean, if he falls off the gas like we saw in his last fight towards the later rounds, I mean, it will be a ominous fight to lose.
Moving on, Lee. We ain't got many people in this live right now. But we got maybe what's one good featured fight you got for everybody this week, my friend? What you got?
Well, I think Davy Grant is fighting again, and anytime there is a Davy Grant fight, you know it's going to be a banger. That guy at 39 years old is putting it out. His opponent, I don't know if he's going to get it done. Like, I mean, they're just feeding him younger guys and younger guys. The line for Davy Grant is about plus 130. I think his opponent's at minus 160. And ultimately, I got to go again. I went against Grant last time and regretted it. But I got to go against him, though, just because I don't see how he's going to keep on doing it. I would love for him to do it, but I just don't see how he's winning this one up against a guy that's like 17-2.
Yeah, his time's going to come. He's been on a little streak here. Took out Roman Tavares. Did lose to Daniel Marcos. Went to decision with him, so that's pretty fucking solid, truthfully, on that one. Yeah. Beat Rafael Unsun Cao. See those name games again back in 2023. Oh, man, it's hard not to take him just because of him proving so much. What's the odds here on him this week? Davy Grant coming in at plus 140 against Daniel Santos, minus 166. Seems to be good and accurate because, I mean, Davy Grant, 39 years old against a 30-year-old. He's going to take that L at some point. It's just a waiting game.
Absolutely.
Coming up, your featured bout, UFC Apex this weekend. We got a banger, baby. I'm actually more stoked than this than the Emmet Muprhy fight. Pat Sabatini coming up against Joe Anderson. Brito 17-4-1. This is a fucking barn burner, my friends. Joe Anderson, Brito. He's 30 now, but man, he will cut you down like a tree. You leave your leg out there, it's coming. There's a couple of times I've actually taken Joe Anderson Burrito, to which I maybe shouldn't have, and he got the dub. When he coming in his last fight, I think it was Jack Shore, believe. And it might have been 2 years ago, actually. I watched too many fights. It's hard telling these days. But his stand-up game is really good. Joe Anderson Burrito is very patient when it comes to. He never really jumps forward, attacks. He's very passive type of fighter.
Yeah.
Once he knows you get hurt, then he'll put on the moves on you. He's not someone that's just going to come out swinging too much. I mean, he does land about 3 strikes per minute. Takedown average of 3. But so does Sabatini. This matchup is beautiful. Sabatini comes up a little short on the feet, I believe, against Anderson Burrito. Just him being able to mix up his kicks, stay at distance, and then go into his boxing range. What's your thoughts on the Sabatini fight, Burrito Lee?
Yeah, you know what? I have always been a huge fan of Joe Anderson Brito, man. He's one of the first guys that I've ever watched land a ninja choke in professional MMA. And he's probably one of the only guys that I've ever seen win a fight by a cut on the shin. I think that was like 2 fights back where he just booted the guy's shin right open and it just split. And they called the fight on that particular cut. But, I mean, I think this is going to be a Sabatini fight. Brito gets put to his back a lot. Sabatini is not going to strike with Brito. I believe he's much more smarter than that. He's got the ability to violently wrestle for 3 rounds. We've seen it time and time again with Sabatini. His transitions are smooth. His top pressure is heavy. Brito can knock him out for sure. Brito can kick his leg backwards, but I don't think Sabatini is going to put himself in the position for that.
We shall see. I mean, Sabatini's wrestling definitely outdoes Joe Anderson Burrito. And if you're thinking of this, Sabatini is a plus 190 right now. Plus 190. And really, it should be closer if you look at the paper. I mean, he outstrikes him on the feet by a little bit. Sabatini actually does better in takedown average per 15 minutes, even though Burrito has a better accuracy. So, I mean, this one, it's really hard for me to pick, man. I've been on this Joe Anderson Burrito trained since early 2024. Oh man, I think you're talking about when he kicked Jack Shore and got a knockout round 2.
Yeah.
Oh man, I might ride the Sabatini train with you this week, my friend. I think that's what's going to happen.
Like, it's a safe bet. Like, it's there's no counting out Joe Anderson Brito, never, and that guy is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. But nonetheless, I just think Sabatini has the less holes in his game. We're not going to see Sabatini get put on his back. We might see Sabatini get hit, but the minute Brito overextends, those legs are getting taken out from underneath him.
One thing that scares me is Anderson Burrito's 72% takedown defense.
Yeah. Just a way.
The main event, UFC in Las Vegas this weekend. We got the old Bombitron, Josh Emmett, 19-4, coming against Leroy Murphy, 15-0-1 league. Pretty much what this is going to come down to. Can Leroy Murphy dodge the bomb comet from hell for 2 rounds? I don't feel Josh Emmett will go so hard in the 3rd round. And he'll still have knockout power. Never get me wrong. Josh Emmett throws anything ever. It can be half-assed. Could explode your face off. But he's pushing 40 now. If Leroy Murphy is really smart and can I wouldn't necessarily keep his distance, but maybe start out with great head movement without an attack and focus on being very defensive and see what Josh Emmett's really going to come with the angles and things like that. Maybe 2.5 minutes through the 1st round. I really think it's going to cause a lot of trouble for Josh Emmett.
Yeah, that's the top of my notes in bold. Can Murphy stay away from the right hand? And ultimately, he knows what's coming. He's not going to be getting close to Emmett. Right. I think Emmett's going to have a grappling game plan, an approach to that, so he can find a way to get in, because Murphy certainly has the reach advantage here. He's going to have to find a way to ultimately get him down, if that's all possible, just to have the threat of that being a possibility to set up that right hand. But Lerron's going to be at distance. He's going to be throwing front kicks. He's going to be throwing knees. He's going to be throwing uppercuts. And he's going to give Emmett a hell of a time of even getting close to him. So I think Leroy Murphy has it the same way he had Barboza, the same way he's gone 15-0 in pro MMA. He's got it down packed with this striking, and I don't think the grappling of Emmett's going to make a difference for it.
Who we got Leroy Murphy over in the past couple fights? Went to decision with Danny Gay, decision with Edson Barboza last year. Man, what age is Edson Barboza getting to these days? God, relax, son. Probably not as old as I'm thinking he is, but he's been fighting for it. It was Nam, I feel like. Josh Kulabau, 2023. That's a good dub. Gabriel Santos back in 2023. Ooh, Makwan Amirkhani back in 2020. Douglas Silva D'Andrade 3 to 4 years ago. That's a good dub, my friend. My God. Oh, boy. Thing is, the difference between Josh Emmett and Leroy Murphy can mix in the takedowns. Josh Emmett is not going to go for a damn takedown, dude. There is no way. No way, my friend. He's 40 years old. He doesn't want to waste his gas on that, I believe. So, truthfully, Bryce Mitchell kind of froze in place when Josh Emmett came in.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Leroy Murphy, he's going to time his strikes, and probably if he was smart, he would take this to the ground. But he's averaging 4.8 strikes per minute. Josh Emmett maybe get off 1, and Murphy I see coming with 2, 3, 4 punch combos, throwing in some kicks. Just with Emmett's age, I just don't see it going to decision, truthfully. I really see a lot of finishes on this main card this weekend. But I'm taking Leroy Murphy. For all the MMA fans, everybody wants another Josh Emmett face plow, boom, knockout. But I don't think we're going to see that this weekend. I really feel like Leroy Murphy's going to win this main event, Lee.
Yeah, he's going to be on his bike going off the power side. Like I said, he's going to be putting that front kick up there. He's going to be putting all those strikes at range, just making it hard for Emmet to get inside, making him hard to breathe, just making his life a living hell for 5 rounds. And ultimately, if one of those catch a bad gust of wind or one of them cracks clean, then I think he definitely could get the jump on Emmet.
Well, hell yeah. That is y'all's main card for this Saturday. They're going to be in Vegas. I think we got a normal start time. Let me check this real quick for y'all. Where are we starting at this weekend? Ooh, weird. 6 and 9 p.m. Eastern. It's actually pretty wicked. You never catch one like that. That is it for y'all. Your UFC Fight Night breakdown for this weekend on Fight Time Network. See y'all next time.
Before we go, make sure to check out our winnable. Last weekend, we hit Jamal Emmers by KO at plus money. We hit Ateba by KO for minus 130, and we got a bunch of great plays in there lining up for you, and I might even have some for the PFL coming up too.
Peace.
Fight Time Network.